So two different problems here. We're supposed to find the equation that passes through this point and it's parallel to this line. That's one of them. Actually, there's four total problems here. We got parallel, perpendicular for both of these. Okay, so for this first one, we got to make a new y equals mx plus b. But instead of, instead of writing m, we can put -2 in its place for it to be parallel. Okay? Parallel means they have the same slope. They go down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1, down 2 to the right 1. That way both lines are never going to cross. And for it to go through this point, we can plug in our x-coordinate and plug in our y-coordinate to get the right y-intercept to make it pass through that point. So we're going to plug in 3 in for y and -2 in for x and then solve for b. So you get 3 equals 4 plus b. So subtract 4 from both sides to get b equals -1. So there's our equation. It's y equals -2x plus -1, or you could just say subtract 1. We found the slope and the y-intercept, so this is what you have to write for the equation line that passes through and is parallel. Perpendicular just means the negative reciprocal, or the opposite sign reciprocal. So if you have -2 over 1 for a slope, which is what -2 is, then a perpendicular line has a slope of 1 over 2. It has the opposite sign, and it's the flip of the fraction. Oops. And then again, we have to find out the y-intercept. We got to get just the right y-intercept so that we cross at -2, 3. So I'm going to plug in 3 in for y. I'm going to plug in -2 in for x. And then 1/2 times -2, that's -1. And then to finish getting b by itself, we want to add that 1 to both sides. So b is going to be 4. So that's our equation of our perpendicular line. Okay? Then we just got to do the same thing for this equation down here, but oh no, what's my slope? I got to put it in slope-intercept form. I've got to get y by itself to figure out the slope. So I'm going to subtract that 2x from both sides. And I'm going to smush it right in front of the positive 12, so I'm going to change that to be a plus 12. Okay, you wouldn't say -2x 12, right? You got to have a symbol in between, so it's a plus sign because that's a positive. And I'm still trying to get y by itself, so I'll divide everything by 3 to get rid of that times 3 there. So we got -2/3 x plus 4 here. So that's our slope of our parallel line. Right? A parallel line means it has the same slope. So for the parallel line, we know the slope, we need to find the y-intercept. So to find out what b is, we've got to plug in 3 in for x and 1 in for y. If we do that, the 3's cancel to give us -2 plus b, right? You could do your quick little fraction arithmetic. And then to get b by itself, we got to add that 2 to both sides. So b equals 3 is our answer. That's our y-intercept. So the full equation of the line is back up here, but instead of b, we're putting 3 in its place. Okay, and then perpendicular means the opposite sign and the reciprocal. So this is our slope. So for our perpendicular equation, we're going to have 3/2 x, and then we, again, just need to find that y-intercept so that it passes through this point. So we'll plug in 1, the y-coordinate, plug in 3, the x-coordinate, and then we got some quick fraction work to do. Put this over 1, so that's 3 times 3 makes 9/2 up top. And then if I'm trying to get b by itself, I'll subtract that 9/2 from both sides, because that makes it disappear on the right. Then I need common denominators. And so 2 minus 9 makes -7. So we found our y-intercept. So this is our equation for our perpendicular line. The y-intercept is -7/2. Or you could say y equals 3/2 x minus 7/2.